Good morning, guys. We are going to have a maintenance morning in this garden. I do need to grab all of the plants I started up last week from the basement because I took them downstairs yesterday because we had multiple rounds of hail chances. Luckily enough, we escaped it, which I don't know how because there was quarter to golf ball size hail all around us and it literally just didn't hit our house. It was coming and I was prepared for it, and somehow we still did not get the hail. Last week when I left you guys, I just experienced all the herbicide damage in my garden and I ripped it all out. I don't know if you watch my short form videos or not, but I'll inform you here. I went around to a bunch of local nurseries to find different tomatoes. I was able to find some of the Hungarian paprika plants that I had to pull because the peppers I had to pull were my Hungarian paprikas, and we all know how much I love those. I really love to dry those into a spice, and I have never seen anyone sell them. And I went around to probably a minimum of 6 or 7 local nurseries, and one that was closest to me had those Hungarian peppers, which I was so excited about. So I found a few tomatillos, and then I'm also rooting some suckers. So I had 2 tomato plants over there that still were pretty healthy. So I took off some of the suckers and they are finally rooting. So I had these in the basement last night because we were dealing with lots of hail, and also we were under a tornado watch for most of the evening last night. Our weather, you guys, has been absolutely crazy. And I have felt like I have been fighting for my life this spring. Here I am, it's my 8th year gardening, and I feel like I'm on level 8 of a game. Level 7 definitely tricked me because my 7th year gardening, you guys, I had honestly just probably my best season I have ever had. The weather just really worked well last year, and I felt like I was on top of my skill set. So level 7 of gardening was just a great year, and level 8, I have been literally fighting for my life ever since I started planting things out. It's been a very, very hard season, and today I need to go around and prune a ton of stuff off because of all the wind damage. We lucked out with the hail, but we did not luck out with the wind. The day before yesterday, the other evening, we had gusts up to 100, a little over 100 in our area. And if it wasn't for the wind block on the onions, my onions would have just been toast. It's just been such a odd season. I can't believe my garlic still isn't out. We got what, almost 1.5 inches last night. The night before, we got almost 2 inches. And last week, I want to say we got over 7 inches. On Monday, we had a really nice day and I went and did a harvest, and I'm actually just so happy I ended up making a bouquet of flowers because I really wasn't planning on it. My plan is just to leave a lot of the flowers because the flowers are poisonous to my cats, and there's only one area of my kitchen I can put bouquets of flowers without them trying to get to it. So I just really wanted to leave a lot of them, but I wanted to make a bouquet because I wanted to see all the flowers together. I'm really glad I did because the snapdragons just look terrible. I will say I'm actually really glad the garlic hasn't been harvested yet. This is the latest my garlic has ever been in the ground. We are about to completely dry out, and we are hitting 90s for the next foreseeable future. I think for the 10-day forecast we have 90s, and I'm honestly expecting to get most of this harvested by the end of the week. It's currently Wednesday, so maybe Friday, Saturday, we really need to get this out because I don't want to pull this when it's soaking wet. So I'm gonna do that once all the soil dries out. You can see here I have peppers I need to stake back up. The wind was just nuts. The poppies over there, I did lose a few poppies. I have them ripped up over here. The poppies ended up just really taking a beating with that wind. They are almost done. A lot of them have already flowered and they've gone to their seed. They're not going to look pretty, but I'm still going to leave them as is. But I'm going to work on these snapdragons first. You can see these took the most of the beating. I had twine all throughout and wrapped around, but there's a lot of them that are snapped. Like I was saying, it has been honestly a challenging year. When you have a really, really wet season like this and then it's been cool, our stuff has just been so behind. Like I mentioned with the garlic. We are literally weeks behind. I want to say we are about 2 to 3 weeks behind on majority of stuff. And I actually planted a whole week earlier this year because we were actually warm in April. So I went ahead and planted that last week of April, thinking I might be ahead of the game a little bit. And that has just not been the case. And then when you're dealing with this much wetness, I am honestly already dealing with a little bit of fungal problems. And the moment it heats up this week, I honestly expect to have a lot of fungal issues pop up. When it is wet like this, that is one of those issues you are going to just be dealing with, or in the heat too at the end of the season. I'm typically not dealing with fungal issues in my garden until about August. I think this is probably the wettest spring I can remember. We have been in drought for years. Even last year, we got put on water restrictions. You weren't on any type of water restriction if you had a food producing garden, so I didn't have to restrict my water. I want to say everyone's been on water restrictions since at least June or July, and it's been ongoing. I don't know how at this point we are in drought conditions, because there is just no possible way this state is in drought conditions, because I'm pretty sure everyone's experiencing a very similar spring. I trimmed down most of the snapdragons just so they can grow back straight and tall. A lot of them were almost done blooming anyway. And then I am just going to get some of my peppers staked up a little bit better. Also in the garden tour, I believe I was still thinking this was a Goldie Honey Bear sunflower, and it's official. It's definitely not a Goldie Honey Bear sunflower. These don't get this tall. Last year, those ones that branched out in my garden, they got this tall. So I'm thinking all of my volunteers that I thought were Goldie Honeys aren't. This thing I have had to prune down a few times. These things got massive last year. And speaking of, I'm gonna go ahead and prune off a few more of these bottom branching, because these will get even longer, and then I'm not even going to be able to walk through this. With all the rain we've been having, the squash, the pumpkins have really started to take off. I did see my first squash bug, but I have not seen any eggs yet. I've been really trying to keep tabs on these plants just to keep double checking for eggs, because I'm approaching the season where squash bugs are about to become a problem. Honestly, pests haven't been bad. It's really just been the weather this year. I have had a lot of aphids, but I do have a ton of ladybugs around where they're just kind of handling it. All right, ooh, it looks like one of my pumpkins is actually flowering over there. But you can see, here is my honey nut squash. This is what they look like before they start to flower, but I have a handful of them flowering this morning. I need to mention this to you guys because I haven't. I originally planted 2 pumpkins on each side of these trellises. And then I want to say about a week and a half ago, I randomly was like, you know what? These are going to get absolutely massive. Why did I do that? And I just pulled the front plants. And as you can see, this is one pumpkin and this is one pumpkin, and it's filling out the trellis a ton. So I am going to go ahead and prune this down just a smidge. So there is a whole other vine coming out right here that I'm just going to snap. We do not need that. I'm growing a variety here. I want to say it's Long Island cheese pumpkin. It's supposed to be more vine borer resistant. And I will say I have seen vine borer buzzing around. The squash I have over here, the honey nut, is also vine borer resistant. So I shouldn't have a problem with these plants. I've never had an issue with vine borer with anything else in my garden. And then again, right here, I have a whole other vine. We do not need that. I've been really loving all of the light pinky tones of this ballerina variety. You know, I will say the one zinnia variety I was really excited about this year that I'm not like the most thrilled on is the Zinderella. They were supposed to be the fluffy zinnias, and I was really hyped because the pictures that I've seen, they look really fluffy. I don't know if I got like a bad batch of seeds, but to me, this looks like a pretty basic zinnia. This is what it's supposed to be. Like you can see this one here is a bit more fuzzy, but I was expecting them to look fuzzy. Like they don't really look that fuzzy. And this is supposed to be a Zinderella That one's supposed to be a Cinderella. That is a plain Jane zinnia. The ones over here, they're very tiny, but they look fuzzier. But that definitely looks like a fuzzy zinnia. So I don't know. I don't know yet. Because this was also supposed to be a Cinderella. Because the only reason why I really know that is because I matched them up to be all symmetrical with each other. And these two don't match. These two don't match. And they were all supposed to be a similar color wave, and I don't remember yellow or orange being part of that. They were all supposed to be different pink tones. Also, guys, my hyssop was so late to bloom. This is new to blooming. Looks like I got another stick here. But this is something I have loved having in my garden. So hyssop was one of those things I accidentally planted and grew my first year gardening, and it spreads like crazy. So it has popped up in my garden in various places every year I have gardens. I accidentally grew this because the seed packet said lavender hyssop, and I knew absolutely nothing gardening at the time. I just read lavender. I was like, oh, let's get this lavender. Let's plant the lavender. It wasn't until year 3, I think, I learned what hyssop was. I have a video where I believe I talk about me learning that this was hyssop and not lavender. But I really love, oh, is that a squash bug? Buddy, ew, it was a squash bug. No. All right, looks like squash bugs have entered the chat. This stuff is perennial for me. This is a lavender hyssop, so it is purple, but I do believe there's pink varieties as well. The bees love this stuff. You can also use it for teas and things like that. I don't do too much with it, but it does bloom for me all season long. It's drought tolerant, and it just puts on these really pretty blooms. They look really pretty in a bouquet as well, and I have like 3 or 4 pockets of it this year. It's one of those that I really, really love having in the garden, and it's so tall this year. I don't know if I've ever seen my hyssop so tall. Like you can see over here, it's pretty tall. It looks really pretty. This one's a little bit behind compared to the one I just showed you guys. I remembered I was going to tell you guys my just terrible luck with everything this year. So my loofah got topped, guys. I think a bird ended up topping the plant right here. This offshoot right here will just continue to grow, so I'm not too worried. But with how behind the loofah already is, I walked out the other day and I was like, are you absolutely just kidding me right now? At this point, it's honestly just hilarious how many little things have gone on in this garden over the last handful of weeks. All right, I'm gonna finish up the morning by at least getting this strip weeded. Yesterday, I got that strip weeded, and I'm just going to kind of weed throughout the garden as I can. Here you go, girls. Got you a bucket of weeds to play with. There you go. Look how well this one tomato plant is doing though. Like this one has so much fruit on it. This was one of my survivors, which I was really happy about. Look at all of that. That gives me a lot of high hope here. And we have a lot of good tomatoes over here too. While I was weeding, I noticed that there was a few peppers over here that needed staked up as well. We're just kind of tied to the stake a little bit better. Either way though, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys here. I just wanted to kind of catch you up on what's been going on over here. It's just been very slow, and I've been dealing with a lot of weather. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing the same from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing weather-wise around the country. Please let me know how your season is going. I hope it's going a bit better than mine, because mine's been, again, just a difficult start. But we aren't even into summer yet. So I have high hopes. We still have a long growing season ahead. We have, I want to say 120, 130 days till our first average frost roughly. I'm not giving up hope. There's still plenty of time. I do know I'm very fortunate having a very long growing season, but it's just been a tough season, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. So hope your garden is going well, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.